Living alone as an older person is a journey that comes with its own unique rhythm, a blend of freedom, independence, and self-reliance, but also moments of quiet that can feel heavy. As someone who has walked this path, I understand the mix of emotions it brings. There's empowerment in having your own space, making your own choices, and living life on your terms. Yet there are also undeniable challenges that many of us encounter, often quietly, without much discussion. Over the years, in conversations online and in local communities, I've heard countless stories from people navigating the same terrain. The common thread is that while solitude can be deeply rewarding, it requires intentional effort to keep it from becoming isolating or overwhelming. Today, we'll explore 9 of the most common downsides of living alone as an older adult, and more importantly, the practical, uplifting ways to transform each challenge into an opportunity for growth, connection, and resilience. 1. Isolation and loneliness. One of the most significant and widely shared challenges is the creeping sense of isolation. When you live alone, the daily chatter and small interactions that naturally happen in a shared home simply disappear. Without them, it's easy to feel disconnected from the world. Sarah, an older woman I spoke to, described her first winter after her husband's passing. The silence was deafening. Days seemed to stretch endlessly. I missed having someone to talk to over dinner, someone to laugh with during a TV show. But Sarah didn't let those feelings consume her. She joined a local book club, meeting people who shared her love for stories, and started volunteering at the community center's after-school program. The children's boundless energy lifted her spirits in ways she hadn't anticipated. She also embraced technology, setting up weekly video calls with her children and grandchildren. Seeing their faces and hearing their updates gave her a renewed sense of connection. Her story is a reminder that even small intentional steps, a club, a call, a volunteer shift, can weave companionship back into your days. 2. Safety concerns. Living alone means that in an emergency, immediate help may not be readily available. This becomes a particular worry for those with health issues. Naomi shared a story that made this challenge vividly real. One summer, she tripped in her garden. Thankfully, she wasn't seriously hurt, but it was a wake-up call. She decided to invest in a medical alert bracelet that connects her to help with the push of a button. In addition, she arranged a simple check-in system with her neighbor. Every morning, Naomi sends a quick text to confirm she's okay. If there's no message, her neighbor knows to stop by. It's a straightforward arrangement, but it provides tremendous peace of mind. Her example shows that safety doesn't have to be complicated, just a combination of smart tools and trusted human connections. 3. Household maintenance. For many, managing household chores becomes increasingly demanding with age. What once felt like quick, manageable tasks can start to feel like mountains. Jane, who always took pride in keeping her home spotless, described a day when she felt completely overwhelmed looking at an overgrown garden and a sink full of dishes. That's when she decided to simplify her environment. She downsized to a smaller home that was easier to maintain and hired local help for heavier chores, a teenager from the neighborhood for the garden, and a cleaning service for deep cleans. She also created a maintenance schedule, which turned endless to-do lists into manageable, predictable routines. While asking for help felt uncomfortable at first, it freed her to focus on what she enjoyed: reading, gardening, and visiting friends. 4. Financial strain. Handling all living costs alone can be daunting, especially on a fixed income. Janet recalled how intimidating it felt to suddenly manage the household finances after her husband's passing. But she approached it methodically, creating a detailed budget and tracking every expense. She discovered senior discounts at local stores, attended free financial workshops, and applied for utility assistance programs that reduced her monthly bills. With time, budgeting went from being a burden to a tool of empowerment. Janet's story proves that a little research and organization can go a long way in easing financial pressure. 5. Health and wellness. When you live alone, staying motivated to cook nutritious meals or keep up an exercise routine can be harder. James admitted that there were days he couldn't be bothered to cook just for himself, and exercise gradually slipped from his schedule. But he turned things around by joining a senior fitness class, where the shared energy and encouragement kept him going. He also signed up for a meal delivery service tailored to older adults, making healthy eating effortless. Later, he joined a cooking class at the community center, which turned mealtime back into something creative and fun. The lesson here is that health thrives on structure. Routines that nourish both body and mind, built into your week so they become second nature. 6. Emotional well-being. The absence of daily companionship can weigh heavily, sometimes leading to depression or anxiety. Mark spoke openly about how oppressive the quiet in his home felt on certain days. His turning point came when he committed to actively cultivating joy. He revived an old passion for painting, which became a form of therapy. He also began practicing mindfulness and meditation, learning to anchor himself in the present moment. And when things felt particularly difficult, he sought professional help. For Mark, therapy wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a lifeline, offering tools to reshape his perspective and cope more effectively. 7. Social stigma. Unfortunately, there's still a social perception that living alone as an older adult means you've been abandoned or have failed in some way. Agnes initially felt self-conscious about her situation, worried about what others might think. But she reframed her perspective, recognizing her independence as a badge of resilience. She even started a blog documenting her solo living journey, and the positive feedback from readers inspired her to continue. Her openness helped shift perceptions, showing others that living alone can be a vibrant, self-directed choice. 8. Technology gap rapid. Technological change can be overwhelming, and for some older adults, it creates a sense of frustration or exclusion. Clara remembered feeling completely lost when her daughter gifted her a smartphone. It was nothing like her old phone, and she struggled at first. But instead of giving up, she took small steps, starting with a basic computer class at her local library. She also leaned on her grandchildren, who loved showing her new features and apps. Today, Clara uses video calls, social media, and even participates in online classes and virtual events. Her story is proof that it's never too late to learn, and the rewards, staying connected, informed, and engaged, are well worth the effort. 9. Transportation challenges. As driving becomes less safe or no longer possible, mobility can shrink dramatically. This not only limits access to essential services, but can also cut into social engagement. Alice faced this issue when she stopped driving. Public transit in her area was unreliable, and she didn't want to overburden family members with rides. So, she explored other options: ride-sharing apps, a senior transportation service for appointments and errands, and free community center shuttles. These solutions restored her independence and allowed her to stay socially and practically connected. Living alone as an older adult certainly presents its challenges, but each one can be transformed with the right mindset, resources, and support. The key lies in staying proactive, building safety nets, nurturing social ties, embracing lifelong learning, and prioritizing health. Surround yourself with people who care. Remain engaged in activities that matter to you, and don't hesitate to reach out for help. Life is as rich as the connections you make and the perspective you bring. Alone does not have to mean lonely. It can mean strong, free, and deeply connected to the world in your own way.